With today's constant competition for the eyeballs, and with how well people have invested time and resources into the creative and design world, it is essential that we understand design right from the basics even to the essentials. And this episode of the podcast features a conversation I had with a friend, Leye Ogunsanya, who is an economist by degree and a budding creative designer who has been able to understand design right from the basics even to the essentials. We talk about understanding design thinking, how to design for different people and different occasions, and to understand the basics of knowledge transfer.
You can't just allow your passion alone fuel you. Your passion has to become informed. Your passion has to become an intelligent passion. You must know the terminologies, know the technicalities, and everything involved in design. I mean, you can't just design out of passion and throw things on the screen. You have to have an explanation for every stroke, for every turn, for every bend, for every line, for every circle. Every object of your screen, there's a definition to why it is there.
And with this, if you'd like to know more about the Simple Creative, just log on to dimeji.com/podcast and you would get every detail you need about the Simple Creative. Thank you so much for listening and enjoy the podcast. All right, so thank you so much for agreeing to do this. This has been one of my most anticipated episodes. I remember when I originally wanted to start the podcast, I think I told you about it, that I'm starting a podcast. Yes. And you were like, when it's high time you do that with everything you've been doing, knowledge transfer is one of the good ways to actually reach out to more people. And thank God this is actually happening right now. So okay, but just to give a quick introduction about yourself, your name. I'll do a normal introduction for you before the episode starts, but just tell us about yourself in like an elevator pitch of yourself.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure. I do not hold it in small regard. My name is Ogunsanya Oyeleye. I called Leye my first name. I'm currently an MSc student at University of Ibadan, Department of Economics. That's the official introduction. Now, the proper introduction. I'm a young man. I'm a keen student of human nature. I'm a budding creative.
Okay.
And they call it humility of knowledge. We should not present ourselves to be what we are not. So I fancy designs, and because of my fancy that I have for designs, I've gone deep into designs. I'm learning all sections on design. Most of the sections I can lay my hands on regarding designs, and I think that's all. Primarily, anybody who checks my status, checks my IG page, what you see there is just design. So that's currently my journey now.
Okay, so what caused your transition from? Okay, it's not really a transition now, but you're still going into the economic world.
Yes.
But then, why did you decide to venture into design and actually make it something very prominent? Like you are actually going into it deep now. So what caused that?
First, it was being keen on colors. I'd always fancy finding colors being merged together appropriately. I find it attractive when I see someone doing beautiful works with colors. It just gets me. I mean, colors, even down to clothes. I'm serious.
I can see your clothes is colorful.
Even down to clothes. When I see colors sprayed neatly and done professionally, it gets me. It gets my attention and just transition me into a state of wonder.
Wow.
It really gets me. So when I started noticing good designs, neat designs with clean alignment, beautiful compositions, things are looking balanced and yet colorful, and most times they are minimal, it just gets me. I tell myself then I was in I think 300 level in Leye. I would always tell myself that one day you would design like this. you would do designs that people would just sit down with 30 minutes and will wonder who did this. Now I'd always fancied it. I just noticed it communicates to a part of me what beauty we can bring out of an empty canvas.
Okay, well, I understand now that today's world, we are all about the competition for the eyes. Those that can actually get the thing you see, and they can capture attention for, like you said, 30 minutes and just wondering about a particular thing. So what would be your take on like this particular competition for the eyeballs? Like, where does this fit into our daily lives, and then how to actually understand exactly what to do? Like now, for most designers or creatives out there who are actually putting in the work to get seen or get noticed, what's like the major thing for them to actually just consider first when it comes to designing for people and what people can see?
Well, from my reading in design, I'd gather there are two approaches to design. First, before I even talk on the competition for eyeball that is trending now, because people have short attention span.
Yeah,
they say the goldfish has by 1 second the greater attention span that we do. So the first thing you do first, if you even want to enter that competitive market for the eyeball is, you can't just allow your passion alone fuel you. Your passion has to become informed. Your passion has to become an intelligent passion. You must know the terminologies, know the technicalities, and everything involved in design. I mean, you can't just design out of passion and throw things on the screen. You have to have an explanation for every stroke, for every turn, for every bend, for every line, for every circle. Every object of your screen, there's a definition to why it is there. So design is becoming, I notice, more scientific and methodological rather, than just something you just do
all of a sudden,
impulsively.
Like you actually put in the work, and
You put
then
in the work.
years of actually. Okay, I think I was having a conversation with someone not too long ago, and then we're discussing how design has become, as in we've gone far from
Design is becoming a language
exactly
that people use to communicate.
Exactly.
It is not just what you show people, it is what you use to communicate to people. And I'm starting to realize that every creative cannot just afford. If you want to be competitive, there have to be an information behind your design. If you check logos now, people give an explanation to logos. They tell you the measurement that went behind the logos. They call it the creative process. They show you what research they went into.
like
Before
every
you-
little detail,
every details.
that actually got the final product there.
Like Poran will say, they say design, the design now is in the details.
Yeah.
So every detail matters now in your design. I mean, every detail matters in your design. And this means that you cannot just afford to be an ordinary designer. You have to follow people you notice that are putting in information into design
Okay.
and information informing design.
Okay.
So people go into field research, questionnaire, they get respondents and all of that. So design cannot just be seen from the ordinary landscape any longer. It is not just something you just enter and start using Photoshop or CorelDRAW and putting things together. I mean, there's an informed mind now.
I think we have too much of people focusing on the tools
Yeah.
instead of the actual study.
Yeah.
Like, yes, mastery is something good, like mastering a software or an application to actually get the work done.
Yes.
But then understanding how it works and how this design would eventually look or play out is like one of the fundamental parts.
In fact, you said something very, very important. Very important. I remember designing for a client who wanted to make a book for old age, for people in their old age, for aged individuals. And I used small fonts. The design was lovely. Every young person who saw me
Would love it.
loved it. But you see, as much as design was beautiful, it was not functional. There was form, but there was no function.
Okay.
It was not functional because the target audience, the people needing the designs, can't read. They are all on glasses. They are all on glasses. Even the man, the person, the client who gave me the work, loved the design. You see, but by the time he printed the work and gave it to the end user, we realized he had wasted money.
Wow.
They couldn't use it. It was not usable. The first complaint was they forgot quickly that they were looking at the beautiful design. What they needed was, can it solve
A problem.
a problem? The fonts were beautiful, nicely spaced, but they were
It didn't
small.
fit the market.
It didn't fit that particular market. I was dealing with old people. I was supposed to use a big,
bold
bold
font.
font, not something small.
They'd have to squint and see.
And no, the squinting was so much they threw the book away. So I felt disappointed, and I learned a big lesson. This was last year.
Wow.
A very big lesson that there are sector-specific designs. I mean, these are understudies you have to carry out. You have to take on these sectors and observe what is obtainable in this area. What is obtainable in this area? Am I dealing with young adults? Okay, what communicates to them? Am I dealing with aged individuals? What communicates to them? Am I dealing with children? What kind of design patterns do I use for them? And this means that a creative has to be on a continuous learning
Yeah,
process.
you have to be knowledgeable across board. Like, no, okay, the thing now is I've noticed this, like, even with myself,
Okay.
designing for a couple of years now, and I still feel that there is a place for actually picking up the user experience over any other form of design. Now,
Yeah.
I'm trying to be very careful with this statement
Yeah.
because people will hear this and they'll probably tackle me or something. But the thing is this: first, the design is not for you
Yes.
as the creator or the designer. It's for those that are using it. Like,
Yes.
so think about who is listening to it, or who is watching it, or who is using it.
Now that's a very
Before
profound statement.
actually like taking up the idea of what a design should look like.
Yeah.
Now, I think I drew up a couple of questions, but I want to make this as interactive as possible.
Alright.
Now, from a designer's standpoint, I've noticed that most designers don't know how to actually what's the word now? Express their feelings about finance.
Okay.
Like, people just feel like, oh, once you're a designer, forget about talking about finances or dealing with the strategies and all those things.
Okay.
But then you're an economist and already also a designer. Like,
Okay.
where, as in, how should the balance be? Like, should you prioritize, actually going all out for the money, or just understand the basics, learn the little details, the nitty-gritty, and then balance everything on how to actually sell yourself properly?
Well, economics says that, sorry for turning into economics. Economics says scarcity creates value.
Okay.
If I want to, there's a quite a paragraph of value. Let me just quickly explain it.
I should be taking notes.
Okay, no, not necessarily.
No, yeah, go ahead.
You see, bread, we need bread to survive.
Yeah.
We don't need diamond to survive.
Okay.
But you see, bread is cheaper than diamond.
Yeah, obviously.
Why? Because if I don't touch diamond till I die, I will still survive.
Yeah.
But if I don't eat food for the next 4 days, they might just give some announcement online. and it will not be a good one. So, but diamond is more expensive than bread, because diamond, you don't walk down a street and just find a shop
There's a level
selling
of value
diamond
that's gone into it.
It is not something you just come upon suddenly. So it's the same thing applicable to a designer. You must have honed your skill first. Become so on demand before you start to prioritize finance. If you start early prioritizing finance, you will lose out fast. I mean, people don't tell you this, and a lot of micro bloggers are not open with it. You must have done a lot of free designs. I mean, at your early stage starting out design, which I don't assume I'm out of yet,
That's true.
you must have done a lot of free design.